Hello, hello. Welcome to
Enthusiasm.
another episode of What's Really Going On in America. And of course, as always, I'm your host, Quinn. This is Johnny. And, and of course, what do we have really going on in this country? More corruption. And
No, no. Perfectly fine. Totally fine.
oh yeah, I love being lied to by Biden. Oh, you shall not spend any more any more in taxes if you make $400,000 or less. Oh wait, yes I am. I actually owed money to the
Yeah.
federal government, and I didn't even make 50,000 this year.
Yeah,
So
I owed money too, and I'm not too thrilled about that.
yeah,
I mean, it
it's
wasn't a lot, but it was still the fact that you took money from me for 52 weeks and you still wanted more.
exactly. And speaking of which, if you want to help support the channel, what's really going on in America, and you want to help end color division, please get one of these wonderful Human Lives Matter t-shirts. We're trying to spread a positive message on the right and the left to end the color division. I know it's a tall order, you but it is very well worth it.
But if we support that, then we won't have anything to argue about, Quinn. I mean, come on. What's wrong with you? There's entire media networks dedicated to us yelling at each other, not not coming together and realizing that we're all the same. No, no, we have to dislike each other.
Exactly, and it's sad. And so I just told Johnny here that we're gonna go through the president. Who would show in the comments who you would vote for if you had an opportunity. My guess is it's going to be mostly Trump, but yeah, put in the comments who you would vote for. We would
I
like to see.
I think we should vote write in Ronald Reagan just to show the rest of the world that we're really crazy and we're not messing around. Let's elect a dead guy.
well, well, you know what? Trump. Yeah, most people would vote for him, and I can understand he did the most out of every president since since I could vote. He did the most for me,
Yes.
and he, in fact, because of what he did, I've seen who I actually voted for Bush and Bush Jr. because I wanted more money for myself so I can live my life
Yep.
instead of being because Democrats would take a little bit more. But looking back at it, I seen clearly that Bush and Bush Jr. was no better than the Democrats. He just it just gave a false sense of security, thinking that he would, before I even found out there's a uniparty system, and they were working together. It took me until a few years ago to realize that Bush and Obama are friends.
Oh, they all are. The only one who's not in that friend circle is the man pictured above our heads.
Exactly.
And that's the truth. There's no bias to that. It's just he's not part of the circle. He's the only one that has ever been outcasted like that. And why is that? Is it because he held people accountable even within his own party? Because why is there not an overwhelming majority support for him within his own party? Because the people within that party are just as corrupt as the people that they're allegedly arguing with on the other side of the aisle. They're just as guilty for these massive spending bills, but yet we're going to just point fingers and say, no, it's the other guy. No, it's the other guy. No, it's the other guy. And we're just going to do that for eternity until everything collapses. And we're just standing there looking at the rubble going, well, I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
Something's got to give. And the orange man from Florida, I mean, I'll tell you what, that was not on my bingo card of life, that Donald Trump was going to run for president and somehow do a good job and get everybody to hate him. And honestly, that's what makes me like him.
And you know what happens when you try to get out of a gang, right?
Or
turn on them?
Oh, there's pretty much one result in that, and it doesn't end well.
Yeah, but see, Trump has money, and what does a gang member do with the person in their gang turning on them and getting out? Oh yeah, they'll go after their money first before they take his life.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to make it profitable. I mean, why not? Why not get paid to be a douchebag?
Exactly, and then that's exactly what's going on with Trump, and this proves that we got gang members and mafia in our government. Clearly.
Well, we already know that the government owns the monopoly on violence because, just gun laws in general. Because there's not I sound like a broken record, but there's not a single law on the books that the government is not willing to kill you for. Because if you escalate something far enough, something as simple as a parking ticket, they will kill you. They will imprison you. They will kill you. They will take everything you own over $10 because that's where it started. And it escalates. But the minute the people decide, no, we're done, we push back, all of a sudden they're the extremists. They're the domestic terrorists. And I guess what it really comes down to, I mean, we've seen it over the years. It all depends on which side of the fence you fall of who you deem a threat to society. We watched BLM burn down cities during 2020, but that was perfectly okay. That was peaceful protest. But yet what happened on January 6th is somehow an act of terror and the end of democracy. I think both incidents were very stupid on behalf of the people who participated. I do think that there were a core group of people on either side that their minds were in the right place, their heart was in the right place, but we're humans, man. Some people just don't know how to act right. And look, now we got the Roomba on screen, the waste of air. That guy. Hopefully Corn Pop doesn't show up. He might get scared and fall down the stairs.
Speaking of falling down the stairs, well, there's Biden, the king of falling down the stairs. He came in, walk up a flight of steps. He can't attend a meeting without, sleeping and all that. But the leftists love him for some reason. Or maybe it's because they love him because they hate Trump. Because all the memes I've ever seen from the leftist groups, they always have anti-Trump, but they never post anything pro-Biden.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, that's been kind of the mantra of the left for as long as I've seen. It's just bash, bash, bash. And,
yeah.
And I'll tell you what, even with other Republican presidents, we can say, look, we'll bash the other side because we really don't have that much to go on. Trump gave us a whole lot of gimmies as far as we could do pro-Trump memes rather than anti-Democrat memes. It's just fact. I made more money, I kept more money, and then COVID happened. And I can't blame Trump for that. It happened. I don't think I have my theories on that. We'll save that for something else. But outside of that, what happened? No new wars. We had record low inflation. People were working. People were keeping more of their money. Everything was trending in a really decent direction. And, well, it's the United States. We can't have that. We're just not allowed to have somebody do well, especially when we kept saying how they were going to do so terrible And then next thing you know, oh, look, things are really good. What can we do with that? Let's crash the world economy.
Yup. And you know, it's so funny too, because Biden really, the only thing Biden, like, if I was to say Biden did anything for us, we would have to live in Ukraine to even say where it was, because you know, we came up with a new slogan for him, making Ukraine great again. You know, Muga.
Well, the other thing that's funny is the amount. I mean, everybody's so focused on the right now in Ukraine, like they don't understand how they got to that point where they required so much assistance from us. We essentially toppled the government, as we do, installed a puppet leader, as we do. Things got a little hairy, as they do, and then we decided to do something in complete defiance of their neighbor, and their neighbor said, we're going to do this if you do this. So we did that, and then they did their thing, and we go, what happened? They literally told you what they were going to do. I don't agree with it, but I also don't understand why we're willing to threaten the security and the safety of every human life on this planet because we want somebody else in NATO.
You know what? They will sacrifice everything, like everyone and everything, all to make a buck for themselves. It's called war profiteering.
Yeah.
And in all the wars, I'm sure after the Civil War, the government thought, ooh, we made some extra money. So what do? They do everything they can to start new wars. And then guess what? They profited from it, from us, at our expense. And rather than giving back the money they owe us, they just, like, now we got this idiot here that says, oh, the big companies are just greedy. Yeah, they're greedy, but guess what? So are you, idiot. And you're in politics. You shouldn't be coming out as a millionaire.
They're also not doing anything to stop the greed. They'll say things that sound good. Just like, we're going to tax anybody making over $1 million at 80%. Okay, do it. Because you're not eliminating the loopholes that help them avoid paying taxes. So
and
everybody in the background is going, yay, we're going to tax them at 80%. And then 2 years later, we're going to wonder, how do they keep getting rich? Because you did not eliminate the problem. You did nothing to eliminate the problem, because if you eliminated the problem, you would have eliminated your donors.
Oh, and look at what happened in California. $20 an hour. Now you got businesses closing up, and you got mass unemployment. You got parts of businesses shutting down and making budget cuts, employment budget cuts. And people are wondering why, and then they're going to wonder why they can't find a job. And then it's like, this is what you voted for. You said you wanted $20 an hour minimum wage. You got it. Now you're paying a price for something we've been trying to tell you years in advance.
So why is Panera Bread exempt from that $20 an hour? Why were they reclassified as a bakery so they are exempt from paying the $20 an hour? And also that the people at Panera and Mr. Gavin Newsom are all very chummy. So you complain about crony capitalism, but you literally just used it for your buddy to keep making money and being a cheap shit and not pay their employees fairly like you're making everybody else. Yeah, you have no problem shutting down the local diner on the corner. But yet you're going to just cower to a company like Panera Bread, which in my opinion sucks anyway. But that's my opinion. But we've talked. We are, well, I know you agree, fair. If you're going to make a rule, enforce it fairly. If you're going to use anything against somebody, you need to do it fairly. Because, Quinn, I like you, but you did something I don't like. Even though I did the exact same thing, but I'm going to send my people after you, Quinn. I don't know what that thing is. It's probably not even wrong. But you know what? I don't care. I did the same thing, but it'll keep you quiet for a little bit. That's what's going on. That's what's going on in the courts. That's what's going on with these companies, because it's just a bunch of backroom shady dealings, and everybody's doing everything the exact same way. Just the Democrats hide it a little bit better. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes it worse, because at least the Republicans will be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, we're going to totally do something to benefit this guy. Oh, yeah, I know. There's a paper trail 3 miles long that, yeah, we're buddies. We went to college together. We do this, we do that. Oh, I'm also invested in their company, and I'm going to make a lot of money off of this. But, again.
You know what? You know what it is? I bet Newsom has, I should look into Newsom and see if he has stocks in the Panera Bread. And that's probably why it was exempted.
Yeah,
because
I don't remember exactly what the specifics were around it. I just know Panera got reclassified as a bakery. So they got around having to pay the $20 an hour like every other restaurant, diner, place like that. And I'm like, well, that's blatantly unfair to everybody else. And we all know Panera's not a bakery. They are a brick and mortar restaurant. They just happen to make their own bread. So does that mean that Domino's Pizza, because what's pizza dough? It's just bread. So does that mean because they produce X amount of bread-like product that they should be exempt? How about that?
But see, that would cut into the stocks of Panera Bread, which would affect Newsom.
I don't care. Because we have no problem dipping into the stocks, profits, and everything of everybody else. And the reason why they won't do it to like places like Domino's or Pizza Hut is those are franchise companies. The only people getting robbed there is the franchise owner. Corporate doesn't lose a dime. They get their money at the end of the month no matter what.
Yup.
Panera is a company. Those are not franchise stores as far as I know. So they're not giving out money to a corporate entity at the end of the month.
Well, Laws there, I was watching him for quite some time, and he wants to basically has all the Republican talking points, but the only difference, but I don't know, would he actually go through with it? Would he take down the department heads that were corrupted, defund, end the Fed, and actually make the government small again to where we the people would actually have more power? I never know, but I know the Republicans haven't been doing that, because they're in league. Most of them are in league with the Democrats, which makes them a uniparty members. And money, when you're looking at your livelihood, money corrupts.
Oh yeah, and that's what ends up happening. And you'll get like a freshman senator or a freshman congressperson, and what ends up happening? They get pulled into these these fancy members only dinners, and hey kid, if you vote this way, we'll make sure you get a career. But if you don't vote this way, we will end your career really fast. And it becomes a fear. It's mafia, just like you had said. It's a mafia thing. And the people who say, oh, if I vote for this president, everything's going to change, do not understand how little power the president actually has. Mm-hmm. The president is the person at the top. Treat it like a company. Yes, The CEO can say, I want this to be done, but is requiring the people underneath them to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Our House and our Senate, if they're not doing their job, the president is useless. And, as much as we would love for, in certain aspects, the president to be able to go in there, wave their magic wand, poof, everything's good. Well, that's their rendition of what everything is good means to them. What's to say that the next person who comes in, who disagrees with us, comes in and undoes it all at the stroke of a pen? Because, well, just executive order it. No, executive orders don't work that way. They are not law. They can only affect government entities, and people don't understand that. Oh, President Biden signed a $20 an hour executive order. Cool. It only applies to government employees. Does not mean that you work at Burger King and you're going to now make $20 an hour. He doesn't give a crap about you. He would like you to make $20 an hour so he can tax you on $20 an hour rather than $8 an hour. But his executive order means zilch.
Yeah, well, he can, but you can still have an executive order to pick up the illegal immigrants and send them back to where they came from, and bada bing, bada boom, because that's national. That is national security, and we definitely need an executive order to be done. And if Biden actually cared, like he said, he would do it. But he clearly doesn't care about the southern border. He's just using it as a talking point for votes.
Well, the thing is, the laws to do what you just said are in place. We're just exercising selective enforcement, and we're not doing it. Because remember, evil Florida man did it, so we can't do it. And that's what they're basing everything off of. They don't care. Now they're stuck with their wobbly bits in their hand because this is getting to the point where even our own people are upset. What do we do about it? Well, we could go back to this law. Nope, that was Trump era. Can't do it. Even though it wasn't Trump era, it was actually Obama era. He was just the one that decided, like, hey, we should probably enforce this law that we have on the book regarding immigration. And oh yeah, that guy before me, yeah, it was his idea. He signed it into law, not me. And then everybody, I'm just watching everything like flip, like we talked about the Elon Musk thing. We hate Elon Musk because he's rich. Tesla sucks. Tesla's big because you pushed the company. That was your thing. Remember, save the environment. Do it for the polar bears or whatever, or the freaking seals. Now, the guy who is promoting free speech is somehow a fascist, which usually. Look, English was not my best subject. It was boring, and I'll tell you what, I did not pay attention. But I'm pretty sure that fascism is not the promotion of free speech and keeping your shit. But remember, everything's being redefined. It's 2024. I could be mistaken. I'm just not, up to date on things. My dictionary might be a little old. But again. It just comes down to everybody's dumb, and it's selective enforcement on the laws, selective enforcement on what people are allowed to do or what they're not allowed to do, what we're going to flip out about. It comes down to we're going to allow somebody to get away with something because we agree with them on most things, so we're going to overlook this atrocity. But that guy did something. He crossed the street outside of a crosswalk. We must throw the book at him because we don't like him. And here we are. We're having a conversation where the first two candidates, everybody knows who they are. You either love them or you hate them. And now we're on to the stuff that people don't know about. People do not know that there's actual other options, which is why we're having this podcast to begin with. Quinn studies this shit. He is good. He knows way more about these people than I ever will. And I'm learning just as you guys are. The fact that everybody thinks, oh, it's the lesser of two evils. Well, did it ever occur to you that there are other options? You are not forced into one or the other.
Exactly. And it's not just presidency. It goes for any office position in the United States. Did you know that in my district, the 7th district, I actually found someone independent running for Congress that could go against Susan Wild and whoever and Ryan McKenzie. Like, I really want to get him on this podcast with us. I want to, write an article about his campaigning. I want to know who this guy is, and I'm hoping that I can give him a call soon so we can get something set up.
It's hold on. I had a thought, and it was a very, very good thought too. And it just, I watched my cat just fall off their cat tree, so I lost it. So I'm sorry. But oh yeah, it all comes down to money. It really, that's what it comes down to. And anybody outside of the big two, they're not getting that financial backing. And for them to run for something as simple as let's just say a county seat, they got to be doing that stuff years in advance, doing, door knocking and some kind of campaign to just get their name out there. Not even necessarily running, but I'm planning to run 8 years from now, because that's the only way you're going to get that out there. You can't just pop into an election during a normal cycle like you're a Democrat or a Republican and expect to gain any traction. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. They don't have the money to go out there and get TV ads and radio ads and YouTube ads and mailers, and they don't have office buildings full of people doing things on behalf of their campaign. It's unfair. And I really do feel that some really, really good candidates just get pushed to the wayside simply because of lack of funding.
So here is Kennedy Jr. here. He's running as an independent.
He's got worms.
And because he was an ex-Democrat until he, found out that our Democrats of today were not into the free speech and stuff like that. And I was actually talking to Jeff Dornick today on an earlier podcast. He could only do like in the daytime.
Look at you getting work done today.
Yes. I actually, unlike a leftist, I get work done. But he actually supports Kennedy over Trump, he said, due to reasons which you can find out on the last video that me and him did. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Trump, between Trump and Kennedy? Any, in the audience, let me know in the chat room what you think. I really want to know what you truly think about who you would vote for.
Kennedy is still a Democrat, and there's no going to change my mind on that. And he's not going to get my vote because he's still, in my mind, a Democrat. It's the reason I would like him to do at least somewhat well is out of principle, because he's always been a Democrat. And the only reason he switched to independent is because his own party wouldn't let him campaign. They just told him no. So
and that's
like,
because...
all right, fine. And in true Kennedy fashion, the family does it very well. Well, I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to do it over here, and there's nothing you can do about it. And now they're attacking him. It's no different than when Donald Trump ran in 2016. Everybody loved him until he made the announcement he was running for political office. Mm-hmm. All the people who profited off of him, the nonprofits that were functioning because of the work that that he did, the money he donated, the connections that he helped make for people. And nope, you're running as a Republican? Nope, we don't know you anymore. And that's exactly what the Democrats did to Kennedy, in my opinion.
And that's because Kennedy is an old-fashioned Democrat. Back in the 80s and 90s when, they still had the abortion, and they were still crappy with the economy, but but it's not as bad as this transgender censorship and everything they're doing to us today.
If I had to choose between Kennedy and Biden right now, no other option. I had to choose between just those two. I feel Kennedy would do less damage to the country, and I'm not saying he would be good. He would just be less bad. Because I don't think he's bought and paid for. Like a certain somebody who's falling downstairs as we speak. And he can speak. I've watched him on podcasts. He can have a conversation. He does not need a teleprompter. He doesn't need somebody to tell him when to pause. He can speak fluently. Yeah, he's got the weird voice, and then every once in a while he says something stupid like, "I got worms in my brain." I'm not saying that you don't, but just kind of one of those things. Was that really information we needed? The same thing with what's her name, Noam, about shooting a dog. Like, did we really need that information?
Kristi Noam.
Yeah. Why do we need that information? And now, oh, they're attacking me. You gave them the information willingly, and now you're going to complain that you're being bullied? Like, you shot a puppy dog. Has nobody seen John Wick?
It's sad when we have to agree with Whoopi Goldberg when she said, yeah, don't write it in a book. It's just wow, that tastes like vinegar coming out of my mouth agreeing with her on something.
Yeah. I mean, but like we have always said, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
True that.
So
now, speaking of how much I know, you know who he is.
Why does he look so familiar?
Randall Terry. He's he's anti-abortion activist. He's running under the Constitution Party this year. And everything, now the Constitution Party is very strict with the Constitution, which means they honor bound in their own party to uphold the Constitution if they make office or not. And I think that's a very commendable party that they would do such a thing. And their stance on abortion is no abortion, no whatsoever. They're not going to wash their hands from it like Trump did and say, "Oh, I'll give it to the states to deal with it." No, he will. He's totally anti-abortion due to amendments number 5 and 14, life, liberty, and property, and I'm hoping to bring someone from the Constitution Party onto this show. I'm talking to a couple people about it already. Last week we had the person that was doing the person on the chats.
Yes.
He was actually on my friends list on Facebook. And so yeah, this is like, I would say this is how the Republican Party started in the 1800s, but it lost its way somewhere along the line.
I mean, I know exactly why Trump made the stance that he did on abortion. It's marketing. He knows that is a very, very die on the hill kind of topic, and he doesn't want to alienate the people who are anti-abortion. He doesn't want to alienate the people who are for it in any degree. Now, remember, both sides are going to look at it and say it's not enough. The left's going to say nope. You need to draw your line in the sand. You're either for it or you're against it. And the same thing with the right. And he's doing it from a marketing standpoint. He's trying to get votes. He's trying to put a Republican back in the White House. And I do understand it from the marketing standpoint. Just like I feel, I'm not going to go put my political beliefs on the front of a business. That's just my opinion. I don't want to alienate customers. And that's all he's trying to do is gain customers. It's honestly, Quinn, it's one of those topics. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. Nobody's ever going to agree to a point where both sides are happy, and it's going to just go on and on and on until you and I are long off this planet. And that's one of those things I don't see changing. I could personally, I could see them somehow repealing the Second Amendment before they come up with a solution on abortion.
Oh, you mean like Biden already changed the Second Amendment on WhiteHouse.gov?
Oh, he's not the only one. I've been seeing people misquote that thing all over the place lately.
Oh no, it's not misquoted.
And I don't. I'm like,
it's
I'm
miswritten. It's miswritten.
Oh no, I mean, when I say miswritten or misquoted, I mean, obviously they're leaving out that very, very important part about, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And what was a militia? What is regulated? It's like, dude, it's written in the 1700s. Like, if you're gonna use something from that time frame to go against me, but then you're going to deny something written in that same time frame for your own benefit, yeah, you're either going to read it as it was at that time, or you're not. You're not going to pick and choose. And the comedians Penn and Teller, I'm sure you've heard of them. The big loud guy, Penn Jillette, and then the little quiet guy, Teller. They used to do a show on HBO or Showtime called Bullshit. And one of their episodes was on the Second Amendment. And Penn Jillette, very, very loudmouth libertarian type, said, it's amazing how everything in this document is perfect. Nothing needs to be changed on it. Just a wonderful masterpiece, except the Second Amendment. The people who founded this country, they got this wonderful document together. We declared our freedom. We fought a war over it, but yet somehow the only thing they screwed up was the Second Amendment.
Yeah, well, go to China and then try living out your life exactly how you do here and see how the government responds to that.
This conversation would not be happening if we were in China. Let's be realistic.
Oh, of course not. We would have police banging in our doors, and we would get, at the very worst, we would get arrested, if not shot in the head.
I would like to go there on vacation with my cat.
Oh, yes. Be sure you bring a very big cat.
Well, my cat bites back, and now I put commies in the same boat as the other group of not people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to refer to them as, not people.
Exactly. It's people. The lefties don't understand what it's like. Now let's even go as far as Islamic countries, to where the leftists think they would be the best people in the world.
You can't. Nope. You can't criticize them, Quinn. Nope, they're off limits. They're just wonderful, wonderful people. Absolutely wonderful people. They did nothing wrong. They've just been nothing but persecuted for all of eternity. They have never enslaved anybody. They have never attacked anybody unprovoked. In fact, they love all people. No matter, and even if you're gay, they absolutely love you. I mean, they'll take you onto the top of the building and show you the view. It's not their fault you tripped and fell. That is okay. Right now, with what's going on over there with the Israel-Palestine thing, no matter where you fall on that conflict, that's irrelevant. It's the people that are in support of Hamas, essentially, because that's who they're supporting. And there's like Gays for Gaza or something. It's like, dude, they would literally kill you. They would kill you.
And then they say, and then they want to say Christians are the killers and the Muslim people are the peaceful ones.
I wish I had the quote in front of me, but like during the Barbary Wars, they the Barbary Pirates sent a letter basically to the newly formed United States about, basically a quote from the Quran that, all non-believers are to be enslaved and plundered, something like that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's a verse in the
killed.
Quran.
So it's in words. I'm just saying. I seen them.
Yeah, those are the words in the Quran. Nowhere you'll find that in the Bible. In the Bible, you'll see that it goes against God's law, but God doesn't go tell us to kill people over it. He'll take care of that himself if he wants to.
Yeah.
God,
I know he's busy and all, but I mean, wiping off a few useless fucks from this planet, it's probably not that difficult for him. He'd probably do that on his lunch break for nothing. We'll do it off the clock.
Yeah, well, and I seen I should have gotten it on the studio, but there was a photo of Palestine people, basically turn into, I forgot what it was, but they had their heads bowed like this on the ground. And it's like, dude, they don't understand that if they ruled this country, they would be killed with Christians and anyone that goes against the Quran.
Yeah, and we refuse to acknowledge it. We refuse to. Well, the fact that we acknowledging it alone gets you banished from most social circles because I want to know why this group is untouchable. That's what I really want to know. Why are they untouchable? How is it that you can go to a country, like UAE, and there's Muslims and Christians living together? Why does that work? But yet the same religion somewhere else somehow says, let's go attack a bunch of people at a concert for no reason. And the other thing that I'm absolutely baffled at, and you know me, treat everything equally. If you're going to make an argument, it's got to be, that across the board. How far back have we been getting called anti-Semitic as right-wingers or Republicans in general? Quite a bit. But yet we are literally we're in support for the people that are calling for the death of not Israelis, just literally any Jew. And somehow that is not hate speech, that's not inciting violence, and somehow that's not anti-Semitic.
You know what's funny? Candace Owens said basically put America first, that we should not be involved in any of the wars. And she gets fired from the Daily Wire for it. And it's like, she didn't say she was anti-Semitic. She didn't say she was pro-Palestine. She just says, put America first. And in this case, I definitely agree with her because we have nothing to give in this country. How can we give something that we don't have? That would be like asking me for money and I pull out my wallet, there's nothing in there, but you still expect me to give you $1. I can't pull it out of thin air.
Trump said it best when he's like, who's going to stick up for us if we ever have a problem? Who's going to financially back us if we ever have a problem? And also, we've created the daddy's credit card problem around the world because if our outgoing money to all of these countries were to just suddenly stop, what happens to the world? We have created the problem, unfortunately, and now we are so deep that we can't stop it. The monster has outgrown its cage, and I don't know of a solution. I know what I would love to do. I would love to stop sending money to places that we as Americans cannot visit. I would like to see half the amount of effort that we spend elsewhere in the world utilized here.
What it
We have
and
homeless people. We have veterans going untreated. Like, we have a lot of our own things to worry about, but yet countries who literally benefit financially off of us will sit there and criticize us because of homelessness, veteran issues, healthcare costs. Like, we could have that liberal utopia, like with the free healthcare, everybody's taken care of, housing, like everybody is not screwed if we just stopped playing the world police. But honestly, I found out very recently, we've been doing that since we became a country.
Sounds just like it. An attack from the inside so the king can get back America that he lost.
Well, I mean,
And the only difference is he's long dead. So now, the king's gone and no one's keeping track of us. So now it's like, okay, so now we're going to have power for ourselves now. That's what it's come down to.
oh yeah, I mean, when I say like the beginning of our country, I mean, our first peace treaty was with Morocco, of all places, over the raiding of U.S. flagged merchant ships. And of course, the other countries that were raiding our ships decided that, no, we're going to keep stealing from you, unless you give us money, of course. Typical government world affairs. We're gonna do absolutely horrible things, but if you give us money, we'll stop. We will go against our own beliefs, but only for money.
Well, so what it comes down to is we got to stop this voting for this two-party system and saying, oh, we're going to vote for the Republican because it's the lesser of two evils. That's like saying, I'm going to vote for a demon instead of Satan. Okay, you're still voting in evil. And you got, people need to stop with my candidate may not win if I vote for this person. No, people need to start voting for the best person for the job, start doing some research on all sides. I'm willing to help you with I'm willing to help you from the local government in America on up with my company and help you find that third party if you have two bad people, which Democrats are always bad to begin with. But if you have a rhino, in running, don't vote for them. Go for libertarian. Go for independent. Go for something else. Or even better yet, run yourself.
That's the thing that people don't understand. Like, well, I have to vote with the party, even if I know the person's bad. Well, no. You already know that the majority of the party is going to vote with that person anyway. So they're either going to win or not. And I'm not going to morally compromise myself for a letter behind somebody's name.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I feel good about, at least with Trump, is I don't feel that he's the worst candidate. Mainly because, well, I don't know about the other people within the party. So when it came down, and especially like we said pre-show, by the time PA primary came around, what were my choices?
Yeah. And it goes back to like back in the Bush days, when it was Bush versus whoever the Democrat was. I wish I would have been more informed of the other political parties and the candidates that ran, because I would have never voted for Bush if I knew then what I know now about him. And he was both Bushes were clearly rhinos.
Well, I mean, Senior was a CIA guy, so we already knew where his mind and heart was. So, I mean, all he was doing, that was just the next step in his political ladder, essentially. Junior, he just did it because I got to make daddy proud. Um, and,
make
well,
more money.
oh, yeah. Yeah, he definitely did that. They both did.
Yeah. And what Republicans did, what the rhinos did, was they took a small loss to make themselves look good to the one side of the country, and but they were still making money because you notice how the Bush years, the gas prices was the highest in American history at the time, and then under Obama, it's like, oh yeah, we got gas prices down, but we still had to pay higher taxes because of the Obamacare, forcing us to pay into a health care that a lot of us don't even need. And then Trump got in and things were fantastic. Best years of our lives, those 4 years, in
Mm-hmm.
spite of Democrat ruination. And then Biden comes in and then he breaks Bush's records of high gas prices. So it's like, so
Well,
why? Oh, so yeah, if you vote, like, if people vote for Trump, I'm not gonna, be like about it because he did a good job. He did an excellent job in this country, the best. If you vote for Lawrence Mapstead, if you're pro-life, you probably won't like him because he says just have your abortions. Um, as opposed to someone like Mindy Robinson, if she would have ran for president, she's totally pro-life, and I would vote for her over him because of that. Um, Randall Terry, um, if if Trump didn't already proven himself, I wouldn't have to, weigh my options between Trump and him. If I had Bush versus him, Randall, I would definitely pick the Constitution Party right off the bat. And then, of course, Kennedy, he has some of his flaws too, but, and I'm still looking him up as well. But yeah, he's like a lighter Democrat. I'll give him, more like an old fashioned Democrat.
I honestly feel he's very Trump like to a degree. Not similar beliefs, but similar in how they relate to their party, their respective party. Where RFK he's an outsider technically. I don't know how you can consider a Kennedy an outsider, but somehow. But he's not lockstep with his party, the same as Trump. And they're both willing to say some off the wall things because either they need to be said or they just believe that wholeheartedly in it, which I can respect on both sides. They are both very, very disliked by their home party, which, again, my brain always starts going when both sides agree on something because it's never anything good. So both sides don't like Kennedy because, well, right now both sides think Kennedy could cost them the election. Do I think that's possible? Not really. Because I don't think he's going to pull enough Republican votes to make him be a problem to Donald Trump. And, well, we already know Biden's numbers aren't going to be real anyway. But
81 million votes. How could you say that? How could you say they're fake? It's 81 million.
I thought of the words. My brain sent it to my mouth, and my mouth moved, and air came through it, and the words came out. It was pretty simple, actually.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll definitely dive more into the abortion issue, and and please let everyone know that we're gonna definitely, I'm definitely collecting a lot of data on that one. I'm hoping we can get more a nice big audience for this one on both sides. If you agree with us or not. So, and also, we're also gonna put in guns in the Second Amendment. How can we keep you safe without violating the Second Amendment? And that it at all without infringing on your rights. That
I know.
is.
I've told you.
Oh yeah.
My rights are being infringed because I can't go on Amazon right now and have an MP7 here by Thursday on Prime shipping. That I'm being infringed.
Yep. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the show tonight. We thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good night, everybody. We will see you next week. We'll set up a reminder at some point in the group to let you guys know that we will be on live. You can join in. You can make comments. We can read, believe it or not. Sorry, leftists, but we know what books are and the words inside of them.
Yup. Absolutely. We can definitely read. And I promise we won't say the words read the next line unless if you decide to be a smarty pants about it.
Well, you never know with me. Because Tuesdays, you never know what's going to happen on a Tuesday. Sometimes I just come in here a little bit spicy.
Yup. But good night, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Later.